Hi everyone, it's me again, and we're gonna go ahead and take a update on the tournament as I haven't done much. A couple of things have happened. One, I lost a game. Yes, it does happen occasionally. And also I got a draw, which I will be going into first because if I get a draw, something really happened, and it was almost 60 moves, so that was kind of bad as in itself. And it's a weird draw because I've it's the first time that I personally got a draw like this because most people can see what's going to happen before it actually happens, and they accept my draw offers. But this person either didn't know or was short-sighted or who knows. But we'll get into that in a second. Um, So 12% completed. Oh, he's back on top. I was number one when I got my draw, but now he's got 8 games won. Oh no, he got another draw. So he's now at 8. So when I win, it'll be 8.5 unless I get another draw. But I have a better point average than this guy, so I go on top of him when I'm equal. So let's have a look. There's 2,110 games still going. 398 completed. 12% completed. Points available 798. It's kind of cool. So let's have a look. Let's see where verdict is. He's 10th. Oh no, he's lost one more game. He's now lost 4 games and won 1. There is a couple of games that he's going to win, so we'll check back on that. So anyway, this is the draw, and it has to be said he played okay, and I played okay, but I fucked up. We both fucked up, and that's the funny thing about draws. You don't know whether to be happy or sad about it. I mean, I lost 9 points for drawing him because I'm a higher rating, so technically I'm supposed to win against him. Um, it was just an odd game because he had more pieces than I did, but I had more pawns. And this game will show you why pawn structure is extremely important because it's what saved me in this game. Perhaps I could have won it, but in the end, it ended up as a draw. Um, so, as says one of my other videos that I did, this one back in 2014, draws are funny things. Um, in that particular game that I go through, I use a draw to get out. Like I was going to lose the game, so I forced the draw. So I at least got half a point instead of 0 points. And points win prizes. So he does that, which was odd. Yep, I know my alarm, but he stops it. So far, so good. I mean, draws are just funny in general because, like, if every player plays perfectly, the games will end in a draw. So, in theory, we should be all happy that the games end in a draw, but it just means it feels like we aren't good enough. I mean, it's. I mean, you've half won and you half lost, so it's like a stagmire. So he's got double pawns. That's typically bad, but the third one, like his pawn structure is fucked already. He's got 3 pawns here, which is okay. He's got an isolated pawn and double pawns here. So that pawn structure is horrible compared to mine in a nice long line, and I've only lost 1 pawn so far. So here I go, pinning the other bishop, and some people may disagree with this, but To me, I only lose one pawn by exchanging a piece, and I wanted. Sometimes I exchange with the bishop first to get my knight in, but this time I wanted to keep the pin on the knight, so I took the pawn with the knight, and he takes. If I put the bishop back, he would have just taken, and I would have had to force to take with the pawn on the f7 file, which perhaps would be better because then I got my rook open. But I like this better, simply because I pinned the knight. But not for long. So I start the attack. You know, and this right here, I mean, I never had a clear line of attack. Why I never took the rook, I don't know. The main reason is because I was focused on killing him. So perhaps taking the rook here instead of trying to go for the mate. But I wanted to put the rook up and go check. When it was just bad. I should have just bishop takes rook. But I'm already pieces down, you know, so I didn't really want to exchange. When you're up on pawns, you want to try and exchange the pieces, but so you have more pawns and he has less pieces. I mean, his pawn line is decimated. It's just simply gone. And again, I could have just taken his rook here, which I did finally. I mean, the reason why I did this move is kind of obvious, is because I was going for the checkmate. I was thinking he was gonna do any other thing. Like he tried to force the exchange of queens before, so I thought queen to h2 maybe. But he does this, which is just as good. I attack the queen. And then he just takes the bishop. So, right here, you would think white has the advantage because he's 5 points up, but I have more pawns. So even though he has more pieces, my defense line is looking a hell of a lot more stronger than he is. But he doesn't have a clear advantage, and the only thing that I have to attack with is a queen and rook, and the rook's going to be required for defending. So basically, I only have a queen to attack with. So now he tries to exchange queens, which I wanted to try and avoid, but in the end, there was just no going about it. Rooks go off the board. I win a pawn out of this way. So right now, we're equal. In value-wise, we're equal. But that soon changed. Do you see why I did that? Because his king is kind of penned in. It's almost trapped. If I get a pawn there and queen to g2, it's checkmate. So yeah, I had my eye on checkmate. No, I didn't push the pawn straight away because it would have been queen takes pawn. Because I couldn't take it back because the knight's protecting it. He wins the pawn. I go after the knight. He had to defend. King up. Pawn up. This is where you need to know your endgame. because at this point, if you send the king the one direction, you could end up losing the game. Now, the only thing that was stopping this pawn from going forward was the pawn in head that was in front of it. The queen just took it. So it's going to take 5 moves to get the pawn to home. So you've got to think, how can I get my king there within 5 moves? The knight's there, is blocking that square. So I'm gonna, and it's blocking this square too. So that was kind of a mistake. Moving the knight actually allowed my king to start coming home. But I get the check. Queen up, queen takes, which was kind of forced at that point. Couldn't go that way, but it allowed me there. And once I went this direction, there was no way that he was going to be able to stop me from getting the king to the pawn. Now, what I should have done here is push the pawn up to stop the king coming forward. But in the end, it doesn't really matter, because he slipped up by pushing the bishop. If he did anything else with the bishop, like he could have put the bishop here to f2 and protect the pawn. So even if he moved his knight to here, I couldn't take the pawn. King has to go back, and he gets a free pawn. But instead, that happens. And now, this is where I started offering a draw, because I knew it was a draw. He can't win. I'm not an idiot. Neither is he. That's why I offered a draw. The game is drawn. Just drawn. Because he's going to get that pawn. And I'm going to get that pawn too. And I'm guessing he didn't realize you can't mate with a knight and bishop. There's just no way. He had to keep that pawn on the board to stop it from being a draw. But he didn't realize that. So how did I make this happen? Even if he took that pawn, if I take that pawn, it's a game drawn as soon as he takes my pawn, my last one. And my pawns being linked together is what helped. And that was the draw. And that was I didn't have to offer it. It was just insufficient material. So, so there you go. It's an odd way to go about it. It's a funny, odd game. Because to me, neither side had a clear advantage. Perhaps I should have taken that rook a long time ago. But I didn't really have a clear line of attack, and neither did he. He had potential threats, but they were all blocked, same as mine. So he played good. He just didn't play great. And the same, unfortunately, is said it to me. I should have probably beaten him, but in the end, I could only manage a draw. So perhaps that's just a fair result. But like I'm saying, is draws are funny things. You should feel happy about getting draws because you didn't lose. You played an okay game. I mean, I technically didn't make any serious mistakes, and neither did he. He just didn't push the attack, and neither did I. And I missed one chance to take the rook. So basically, it was a game of no mistakes. It was just no one tried. So we ended up with the draw. So yet, why don't I feel happy about it? It's just odd. So yeah, this is the game that I actually lost. Yes, he played well. I think that's Ireland, maybe Italy. Yeah, Ireland. It's orange. So he did the Queen's opening. I did the decline gambit. When anyone does the Queen pawn and does the gambit, the only two squares that matter the entire game is e4 and e5. White's going to try absolutely everything to get a knight to e5. Black's going to do absolutely everything to get a knight to e4. Because bishop's going to come to d3 with the queen to c2 with the attack coming on to h7. Thinking, what's your castle? And then they come out the attack that way. It's a pretty brutal attack. It can be. The one thing that stops that is getting a knight to that square. That's why his knight is pinned. That's why he came out to pin that knight. So I can't put my knight there. This knight is here to stop his knight coming here. That's what it's all about. Those two squares to stop the diagonal attack. Queen to c2, like I said. He didn't put the bishop back to d3. If he had, I wouldn't have been able to do it. He kind of messed up here because the whole entire point of this opening is to have that diagonal attack. So here we go. I think I made a mistake, a bad one, and that's why I lost. Yeah. Sorry about my cat if you can hear it. I gotta be careful because he's going for the sacrifice of the queen. If rook takes queen, rook takes rook, that would have been checkmate. If this rook wasn't here. That's why I put the queen here to take back that way. That was a mistake. He should have just taken the... Yeah, and this is where it went downhill. I messed up badly. For some reason I'm on the defense. And then that looks like an okay move, yeah? And then he does that, and I do this, and I'm like, oh my god, I fucked up. Queen takes knight. And I know he resigned right here because I just didn't see the point. I know he's going to win because he played good the entire game. I mean, I can move... I can move the pawn. But as soon as I do that, queen takes pawn checkmate. If I move it just one square, queen takes pawn. I have to keep my queen here the entire time. Or white would do something with the bishop. I mean, or protect the bishop. But if I went ahead and take that, bishop queen comes down and checkmate. It's just bad. So yeah, that's why I lost that one. This one's going to be over in 2 days. This guy never signed back in at all. So everyone's going to get 2 games. Everyone in my group is going to win 2 games. Except we have to wait 14 days. Alright, so that's it. I'll keep you updated and have a good night.